Today is a very exciting day because something that we've been waiting for like almost 2 months is arriving today. And it means that I get to start on a new habit, which I thought I'd share with you.
So while I'm waiting for this thing to arrive, I'm actually right in the middle of a focus group session. One of the things we do in the Break the Twitch member community, we get together for these 90-minute focus blocks where we all work on whatever we're going to work on and just help hold each other accountable. It's one of the things we do just about every morning in the community. But I figured I would just use this as some peaceful B-roll while I explain exactly what habit I'm talking about here. Now, if you've been with me for a little while, you'll remember that back in February, I did a video about what it took for me to maintain a fitness habit for 2 years straight. Now, that was February, and I think we all know what happened about 1 month later. I was going to the gym about 6 days per week, doing a rotation. Each time was for about an hour per day, and I was doing a 5K walk every day as well. I was super, super active. Diet was locked in. Everything was going really, really well. And then everything closed. And so I had to make some major changes. We picked up a few at home workout things like some Olympic rings and just some dip bars and things like that. But unfortunately, it just wasn't the same because it's so hot here in Phoenix in the summer. It's like 110 degrees most days. It's really hard to do cardio outside. And so we needed a solution, and we finally just broke because we canceled our gym memberships and we needed to create a solution for ourselves. So that's exactly what this is all about.
I just heard a knock at the door, so I think now is the time. Ah, there it is.
Surprise, I guess. Anyway, probably wasn't that big of a surprise from the thumbnail of this video, but this thing is huge. This is the Echo bike from Rogue. We've waited forever to get it because it's been out of stock constantly, and we just needed to get something. I feel like a stationary bike is probably one of the most boring forms of cardio, but it was the best bet for our home and just to create this full picture of being able to have a fitness practice at home. This was a really good solution for us, and so we went ahead and got it. You will see what it was like to take this thing out of the box. It is absolutely huge and absolutely heavy. It weighs like 130 pounds. So you could see how I was struggling to get it in the door. In fact, I would say I got a pretty good workout just putting this thing together and bringing it in the house. So in a moment, I'm going to share the philosophy and the practice of building the cardio workout routine with this thing that I'm going to be using to make sure that this was not what I call a false first step, which is where you buy something but don't end up using it. So I'll get to that. But for now, I wanted to share a little bit about why we got something at all, because you might be like, Anthony, there are tons of workout videos on YouTube. There are a bunch of different things you can do to get your heart rate up. Well, I tried a lot of different things. And for me personally, the bike was going to be the best option. I did a ton of research, and the kinds of videos like Zumba or doing a lot of like burpees or CrossFit type movements at home, they absolutely destroy my knees, especially the repetitive jumping types. And I've always had issues with my knees, one from a skiing injury way back in the day that was not very fun at all, but they've just been a weak point for me. So I really need something that's more stable, more consistent, and this is what we ended up doing. We thought about getting a treadmill, but it would have been way more expensive to get something of this quality. And treadmills are not exactly the safest things to be using. It's just not ideal for the space. So that's why we went this way with the Rogue Echo bike. And this is not sponsored at all. We paid full retail price for this guy. I will gladly put a link to this bike in the description of this video, but it's not an affiliate link. It probably should be. Apparently, I just hate money. But we are very happy with this so far. All the reviews are amazing, and it's clear that this thing is going to last forever. It's built like a tank. So have at it if you will. So let me take a moment to break down how I'm going to approach having this new piece of equipment in our home, how I'm going to make sure that I stick with the practice of using it on a regular basis, and just some ideas that you can take away with you for your own practice, because maybe you're feeling like you need to get back into it now, or you're just wanting to switch it up. Whatever it is, that's perfectly fine. But here is what I'm thinking. Here is what has worked really well for me in the past. And let's get to it. So there's something that happens really frequently, especially when it comes to people that have had a really strong workout or fitness practice in the past. It's where you sort of assume that you will still have the capability that you used to, and that is absolutely not the case. It is really, really important that I start smaller here, because my cardio, my fitness level is much lower than it was back in February. I mean, I was really, really built up. My squat has probably lost at least 100 pounds off of it at this point. So, number one is like really, really starting slow and keeping it fun. There's this idea of basically quitting when it's fun. So, especially right when you get something like this, you want to just go for it because it's exciting and you have all this pent up, like, I just want to exercise and I really need to do something. So people tend to go really hard that first day or two. That is not what I'm going to do at all. I'm going to keep it light and easy and just get used to the movement, and more of just really getting used to sitting on this thing and going through and working out on it. It's not going to be a hard workout. I don't want to be sore at all the next day. That is one of the other major secrets. Whenever you're doing something new like this, wanting to build a new habit, the most important thing is that you enjoy it, that you stop before you're miserable, and do it in a way that allows you to not be miserable the next day so that you can do it again. So that's going to be a large part of the fundamental buildup here with this thing. It's going to be maybe 10 minutes on it today, this first day here, and then do 10 minutes again tomorrow in the morning, feel it out, see how that feels, making sure to manage my heart rate and just kind of keep it very, very moderate as my body adjusts to this new thing. And for the third thing, there's a mindset function that I found really, really helpful with building up this workout practice or getting back to it, or wherever you are in the journey. One is we tend to have this mindset that if we overeat one day or if we don't eat well, that it sort of cancels out the workout we did. And that's something that we need to remove from our minds completely, because working out and eating well are two completely separate things. One thing is great for your mental health, it's great for your physical health. You are moving your body, getting your blood pumping through. You can really get rid of a lot of anxiety, and it's just good for you in general to do. It's completely independent from whether or not you choose to also eat well. So, one thing I'm going to be doing is not buttoning up my diet perfectly right away. That is something that I was doing when I was in my peak, in my prime. I was eating 2,700 calories per day, about 210 grams of protein per day, and nailing that pretty much every day, in addition to an hour of programmatic lifting every day, or at least 6 days a week. But right now, I'm just going to focus on getting on this bike and then doing the band movements and some other just general lifting as I go. I don't want this to be a situation where I take too big of a leap and don't burn the bridge behind me, which means I can go back because the discomfort from that change is just way too big. We want little ratchet ups of a little bit more discomfort from doing the workout, and then getting a little bit stronger each time, both mentally and physically. It works both ways. Speaking of which, this is right about when I started sweating from putting this bike together, because these things were impossible to turn. They were so hard to turn these screws to get the foot pegs in. But I did get there eventually, as you can see, and it took me about 1 hour to build this bike from the moment it came in the door to the moment I finally got this very stubborn screw screwed in. And so that is it. This thing is a beast and it is so incredibly smooth. It has a belt drive, so it just pedals effortlessly and it's super, super quiet. I really, really like this thing so far. So that is my game plan with how I'm going to be approaching the habit around this air bike. Of course, I will be updating you along the way, but I hope you can take these tips and apply them to your own practices, whether it be a fitness habit or something else that you just want to start showing up for bit by bit in your life. Thanks so much for your attention. I'll see you in the next one.